Yeah, man. Let's kill that bass head. Alright, let's do this.
I'm on the air, we got this pockets flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkle in some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAPs.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Bowes, and unfortunately, Matty G could not make it today, but that is all right because we have a guest who is not only a wonderful personality, a world record breaker, but a wonderful entertainer as well. Today's guest, of course, is Joy Chapman. Joy, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Anthony. It's great to be here.
Excellent. So I got to ask you right off, before we get into anything today, what was it like to like, what goes through someone's mind when you're thinking, I can beat a world record?
So many things. That was because I was doing it because it was something I knew I could do, because my little niece Sarah found out. She was like, because I was teaching my niece and nephew vocal lessons and they know where I scale. And I was like, I wonder how common it is for a girl to be scaling off the end of the piano. And I wonder how low I can go, but how do I measure myself beyond a piano? And so those kind of questions. So she looked it up and it was like, oh, it's only D2. You start your singing scales at C2. So it's like, you know.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like, oh, I can do that. And I had my album coming out, so I thought it would be a great kind of publicity stunt, shall we say, to have a Guinness World Record to go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like
album.
Yeah, it's like any type of competition out there, win or lose. I mean, God forbid anything happened and you got a little hoarse in the voice or something, you couldn't do it. I mean, the fact that you were still attempting it is good timing for the release of an album, right?
Yeah, it was just, and there's just so many things involved in doing a world record, which you don't realize until you get into it. Because the laundry list of details for how to achieve it is, yeah.
It's like getting a car.
I can go lower. Right? I can do this. I can do that. And it's like, you go.
That's right. Let's see how far you can go. That's right. And it's really interesting because it's like trying to buy a car, right? You're thinking, I'm going to go get a car today, and then you realize, wait a minute, there's a lot in behind the scenes of just getting a car. You have a lot of different insurance things you have to check. Like going and registering new plates and all these different things. And I would imagine a book of world records is no different than that, right? I mean, you got to call in people and I'm sure before you happen, because I mean, you don't want to get all these people to show up and then suddenly you're not prepared, or you're just like, oh, you know what? I didn't have enough water last night.
That is the trick. And also on that little tidbit, because one of the rules is that you're not allowed anything before the world record. So you have to be on camera an hour before. The camera can't be off of you. You have to be on there so that they make sure you didn't inhale gases, you didn't, take anything, no gum, no candy, no nothing. So the only thing that's allowed is water. Okay. But on that little note, make sure you go to the bathroom an hour before right before that hour, because that camera is going to be going with you into the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
And then how you have nerves. So it's like,
then you're like, I can't go with you standing there.
I'm like, really need to go pee because the pee nerves can end up, and it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And you're just about to pour. You know what? I wonder if you've ever seen. I wonder if that happened to Fergie from Black Eyed Peas. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where she goes on to perform on stage, and in the middle, she pees herself.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, there's a video out there. If you type in, I think it's Fergie pees herself or something. She was, I guess they were all prepared to go on stage, and they had a couple of drinks or something, and then she thought she had to go, and then she couldn't. Then she got on stage, and sure enough, right in the middle of her performance, she pees herself. But she just keeps on going, like as if it never happened.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? But hey,
Exactly.
that's actually a good gimmick, because I bet you that video has a ton of views.
I bet you. Apparently, all you have to do is pee your pants on stage nowadays. Who would have known?
Right. Or the Janet Jackson, little wardrobe
That's
malfunction,
right.
or, but that's a little sexier. So maybe
It's
I'll go
true.
for the wardrobe malfunction rather than
It would be a lot better than, of course, being known as the person who peed their pants on stage, right? I don't think you ever live that down. I mean, your parents tell you this for years. Go to the bathroom before you leave on a trip. The last thing you want to do is pee yourself. So.
Exactly.
Right on. So we've got some news today. Speaking of course, embarrassing things that are out there, the world never fails to entertain us. So today's article, our first headline is "Emergency Crew Rescues Sex Doll After Mistaking It for Drowning Woman." This happens. Apparently people either misplace or discard their sex dolls. And I don't understand this, because as far as I know, these things cost a lot of money. So
I know. And then, I mean, what? Were they not in the mood? Like, when did they lose the mood? Didn't have the sex toy disappear? I thought it would be busy being in use,
Right? I mean, is it just like one day you're just like, you know what, you don't put out enough? Like, I don't know. It's really strange.
Talked back last night. I heard noises. I wasn't expecting those.
Right.
You blow, doll.
You walk into the house. Who's in here? I heard someone. It's a good thing that if maybe he was paranoid schizophrenic. You never know. So, but this one actually happened outside of. It's actually the northern coast of Japan. So someone, of course, was an Instagram person who, of course, our personality, who was out and watching the water because they were looking for some wildlife and a bit of a fishing trip, and they had come across a body floating towards them. So sure enough, this person had instantly called the police, thinking, "Oh my God, there's a dead body in the water." And they had referred to it as like being a scene out of a Blues Brothers movie, where almost an abnormal amount of search and rescue people and ambulance drivers and police all rush to the scene. And to which, when they go to turn the body and fish them out, they realized at that exact moment that it was the sex doll. And apparently, I guess in my world, I would imagine that if I was like a first responder and you're thinking, "Oh, the worst, you're going to show up with these things," I think personally I'd be a little pissed that I got called into another body that turns out just to be a sex doll or a piece of garbage that was in the water, right? But apparently, a lot of these people had a really, really good sense of humor, and they were.
Did she have a return if lost kind of thing on her?
No. And
well, maybe that's really why they weren't pissed. They got to keep her.
Right. You know what? I don't know if anybody in their right mind would put a return to sender on a sex doll, because then outright, if you ever did lose it or someone came across it, I don't think you'd want to be like, "Oh, it's not mine. I don't know what the hell you're talking about." So
well, we're marrying them these days, so
it's true. Yes, we've had a few people or a few articles on the show about people not only that who have married them, but I don't know if you heard about the recent one that was a very, very famous one out of Russia. The man actually is now filing for divorce.
Oh, I thought maybe it was going to be like one of those Russian dolls and it started giving birth to other ones.
Just the nesting dolls. This is not what I signed up for.
It's giving birth to more of them.
It just keeps. That would actually be the ultimate surprise, right? I wasn't planning to be a parent. Just a whole bunch of them fall out. Oh my God, that almost sounds like a fantastic gimmick idea. I think honestly you should go into that and create it. I think you'd be rich as just, if anything, a high-end sex doll that just after like maybe a year suddenly opens up and a bunch of like baby dolls fall out.
And you blow them up and they become bigger and full-size adults.
Oh my God.
But the more beautiful version, or maybe it's the blending between the two of you.
Right. You got to take some photographs of them, and then you make sure that they get molded. And oh my God, this business is already taking off on its own. So it's high end. So needless to say, out of this particular article, nobody was hurt. Everybody was happy on scenes in the end. So although it doesn't say whether or not this person actually did get back to their owner or not. So that's okay. That's okay. We have another article here. And this one, of course, is out of good old Florida. We're always happy with Florida ones. So
yes, that seems to be going good these days.
right, yeah. Like I said, Florida never seems to fail to disappoint. So
No.
The headline on this one is Florida woman horrified to find nearly $1 billion in her bank account. First of all, she's a fucking liar. I'm sorry. Nobody, the term horrified to find, nobody will ever say, I'm horrified to find $1 billion in my bank account.
Yeah.
Right? Would you, if you came along and you opened up the ATM, you went to get $20 out and you saw your statement sitting around $1 billion? Like, and I'm talking, it's $999,875,000 and change.
And why was she disappointed?
So there we go. It's a good question. This woman basically was trying to get the money out. And the irony in this was when she went to get the money, she saw there was like billion. And of course, she was horrified thinking, oh, I've been hacked, or this money can't be mine. And you know, she's seen stories of people who've quickly taken the money out and then had to pay it all back. So she kind of waited a bit and then eventually went to, it was a Citibank, and was inquiring as to why they had, not only why was there almost $1 billion in her account, but when she went to withdraw money, it said that she was overdrawn and they were going to charge her addition to take the money out. Now, there is a lot of questions that sit on this particular article, but what I really loved was not only is she lying that there was a horrified to find $1 billion, but Citibank's explanation is even bigger lie, which is amazing. They stated that the error in the bank account was to ensue curiosity for her to come in so that they could let her know that her bank is actually in arrears. Now, do you think that any professional company out there would be like, well, we can't get a hold of them, let's put $1 billion in their bank account to see if they'll come in and ask us, hey, where did all this money come from? No, let's go back to the point B or the point A where it's like, you take the money and run, right? Like, nobody is going to follow up with the bank saying, oh, I think there's an error. What's going on? How come you gave me $1 billion? So it not only was it just funny that she had said like, oh, I'm so like, this is horrible. But for the bank to turn around and say, no, that was just our ploy to get you in. I was just like, okay, just someone's got to admit somewhere that there was a mistake that happened. And it was either Citibank, because Citibank has had some weird things over the last couple of years about money that had gone into people's accounts that shouldn't have been in there, or people who had their money withdrawn that was an accident. And I feel like this is another one of those weird banking clerical errors that Citibank still won't fess up to and say, hey, we made a mistake. Right? And $1 billion mistake, not even $1 million mistake, $1 billion mistake.
Somebody should be getting fired.
Someone has to get fired, you know? Like, I mean, I've worked for companies where money has gone missing and someone's just like, that's okay, we'll find it. And it was a considerable sum of money that my head spin around like, I'm sorry, did you say how much has gone missing? And yeah, but I mean, never in the billions. So, I mean, there's whole countries that could use that money, let alone one person. So I thought that was really funny in today's news, where like not only was someone, I don't know, like, I mean, I think even if $1,000 got, but an extra $1,000 was in my account, I would be happy and be like, woohoo! I was horribly disappointed that it wasn't real money. Not, I was horribly terrified that there was an extra $1,000 in my account.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if this person is just has a wonderful flair for the dramatic, or is just a habitual liar. I don't. So interesting. What would you do with $1 billion? No, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. That's one of those questions. Yeah.
It is. Yes. Maybe we'll just have to up the value now.
Yeah.
So yes, the Guinness Book of World Records. So you can let us know a little bit about how this come about. I mean, has it ever been one of those things that you thought in your lifetime that, hey, there's a lot of crazy things in the world, I would like to be part of this and see if I could break a record?
No, I don't think it really was a thing that you know, I've always heard of the Guinness World Records, but
Yeah.
it was never really on my radar, I guess, up until just recently. And, you know, and then I was just curious what the record was, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I was like, that's it? That's
Yeah.
all? Oh,
Well,
well, okay.
and see, that's my thing, because I mean, how many times I've seen, I mean, I grew up watching, I mean, the Guinness Book of World Records even had a TV show at one point, and it was always interesting, because I'm thinking some of the crazy things people came up with, I was like, there's got to be something out there that I excel at and I don't even know about it.
How about toilet things?
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Because they had a thing, and I was doing a comparison because my manager, of course, because now we're following some stuff from Guinness and some of the crazy stuff that comes out.
Yep.
In this case, it really did.
Go on.
Did. A lady decided to have the longest excrement from her bowels, and she did it on a bowling alley. So the unbroken,
like, actually on the bowling
alley. So she had like a little cut, I think, in her pants, and went along and shit for 26 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Longest
Wow.
Continuous food.
That is disgusting and amazing all at the same time. I mean, I mean, the only other person I have ever known to like habitually clog a toilet is my youngest child, which I mean still amazes me to this day. But I mean, God, I hope that she never decides to just be like, I'm gonna defecate down the side of this bowling alley and see how long I can go. I mean, do they put her on like one of those scooter boards and pull her along as she's going, or does she have to do this like weird kind of duck walk as she's?
She was walking and doing it like this weird scoot. Yeah, the like, you know, just kind of squat walking all the way along. And, yeah.
Jesus.
It was the shittiest record ever done.
Wow. I have more questions.
I mean, you missed that fun.
Yeah, no, I got it. I just my head has just got so many questions there. I'm like, how much food do you eat? Do you decide that there's a specific diet you have beforehand to make sure that you're not constipated? Like,
no, that's what she did. She did not poop for a week, and high fiber diet.
Okay. You know what? I'm still bemused by how my child, who will turn around and say, I'm not pooping today. Like, it's just not going to happen. And she has been known to hold it for a week. And maybe that is the secret. 4 weeks?
Yes.
You've got 4 weeks without pooping?
My personal best. Yes. On a trip when I was a child. Yeah.
Wow. Is that just like one of those, like, you're very particular about the toilet you use, or it was just like you went to different people and you're like, there's too many people around. I don't want to.
Exactly. All of the above.
Okay.
I manage my bodily functions very efficiently.
Wow. That is like,
that's what you call truly anal retentive.
Right. It's like a steel trap. That is amazing control. I got to tell you, there's now, I completely understand how now you can bring your voice so low if you've got that much control of your body.
It's one of those weird things.
Oh my God, that is just amazing. So, you know what? I think as a child, I was the complete opposite. I mean, if I went into a mall, all I had to do was walk into a bookstore, and then I'd be like, nah, I gotta go. I gotta find a. So I was the weirdest child where, I mean, as soon as I'd get into a mall, I'd have to instantly know where the bathroom was, because I knew I would eventually want to go into the bookstore and look around for a book or something, and I get so relaxed in a bookstore. I think even then they wouldn't let you take the book in with you. So
that ruins the whole experience.
I know, it's true, but you have to remember back then they didn't have like bathroom. It wasn't like a Chapters or something where they have bathrooms in them. Like, you had to go walk 3/4 of the way down a mall, so you had to mentally plan, like thinking, okay, if the bookstore's here and the bathroom's 3/4 of the way down the mall, either I have to walk about 3 kilometers an hour to get there in time, or the moment you feel like you have to go, you got to drop that book and go. So,
Or
and
the people that put catheters in and stuff like that when they're at casinos and things
it's
like
true.
that.
Adult diapers, man, I'll tell you,
Mhm.
I wish
Yeah.
I knew about that when I was in college. That would have made a
Yeah.
big difference. But
Yeah, yeah. Well, an ambulance driver, I knew he had bets going with the guys on something and drinking at the table and not going to, and they were just like, and he was drinking and drinking. They couldn't understand how he wasn't going to the bathroom, but he'd installed the catheter thing.
yeah, that's the break the seal competition, right? So whoever breaks the seal first has to pay. Yeah, we used to do that as well. Except for that's what I'm saying. I wish I knew about adult diapers, but I got to tell you, I could never cathetize myself. I mean, that is. It is like the one thing that makes my skin crawl. I mean, it's like when watching people like give themselves needles and stuff. Like it makes me want to barf. Like even thinking about that. And no, that can go horribly wrong if you don't know what you're doing. Especially for a man, let me tell you, it's going to go the wrong way eventually in life. Like
Yeah,
it just
well,
kind of takes
that
a
was
new
an
shape.
ambulance driver, so he was experienced.
It's true. Oh, wow. Who would have known? This is a great conversation. Guinness Book of World Records to poops. You know, yesterday apparently was a really good day for Guinness Book of World Records. There was a woman out of the U.S. who just broke a world record for the most watermelons destroyed with her thighs.
Oh.
Yeah, she was able to crush 3 full-size watermelons in 7.2 seconds.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if that is a waste of watermelons or something to be afraid of. It was. I'm kind of horrified in watching
that
this.
James Bond movie.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
as this is happening, I'm like, this is like James Bond. I mean, this is how like the femme fatales like kill people, right? So, yeah, no, I definitely think that she would. This would be her weapon of choice. Is clearly her own
They
thighs.
could just advertise her and have her specialty is the thigh master.
Right? I think she would destroy a thigh master. Like it would be, yeah. You know what? Like, that's true.
For you, you too can now squish watermelons.
Right? Yeah, I think she'd be a perfect child. And you know what? Actually, in the time that she's doing this, I thought it was also interesting because it's literally exploding. This watermelon is exploding and pieces are flying everywhere. And she's just not even clearing the old watermelon. She's just putting the new watermelon in its place. And I'm thinking, well, this is going to be difficult because now she's got like a 1.5 watermelons there. Nope, she just crushes it through and grabs the next one. I'm just thinking, I kind of feel bad for the person who has to clean up after this woman. So, you know what? That was interesting because that seemed to pop up in my feed as well, which I don't understand why. I mean, maybe because I was doing a little bit of research on you, and suddenly now my phone thinks I want to know everything about either Guinness Book of World Records or watermelons. It's there. So I'm surprised I actually didn't come across the 27-foot poop or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was 26 and a half feet.
I love that is a fact that is now drilled into you and your team. That is always going to be there. You're going to remember the 26.5-foot poop.
Yeah, well, because then I was, of course, busy doing calculations, and I'm like, can I beat that?
If you've got the ability to still hold it for 4 weeks and not get actually hospitalized, let me tell you, I think you could.
That's what I was doing the calculations, and I'm like,
just
my
imagine.
manager's like, don't even think about it. No.
You don't want to be synonymous with that one too. No.
No.
Yeah. Go with the watermelon crushing one. Apparently, it's not as bad for your career.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I mean, I think. I mean, because I'm still now curious about this woman. I mean, did she have to like practice the walk-in poop? Like, I mean, maybe this is like, I'd be horrified to see what this person's house would be like because I mean, I guess at this point, toilets are out the road.
I also had because I'm assuming she also put in because I'm assuming this was probably not a record that had been done before. I'm assuming.
God, if it has,
I know. I'm going. Okay, because and they always make it more difficult because the funny thing about Guinness is that they have a nasty habit of changing the rules whenever they like.
Really?
And at whatever time they like. So
okay.
You can be in the middle of your world record and they add rules.
Well, that would just make you clinch right up and pinch it off.
Well, that's why I had such a bad vocal experience, because I can usually go a lot lower. But I was having troubles that day because we'd had so many things and screw ups, and the rules are all over the place, and to find where all these little things, and then they throw new things at you. And then I didn't even know about that, where they just last minute, literally, I find it almost after the fact. Oh, they changed the rules again, right? While I was doing the Guinness World Record, they added more things. Yeah. So it's just, and now they've changed them yet again. So I'm pretty sure nobody will ever break my world record.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know who decides on these things or what they're measuring, because it's gotten to the ridiculous. So it's like, I don't know who makes sounds, especially when you're talking sub bass.
Yep.
And they want the microphone 3 feet away to be measuring this accurately.
Okay,
3 to 6
that's really
feet.
strange, right? It's like what at no point is anybody ever doing vocals, they want to be able to do that and project that far away. It seems really weird. I mean, I would have thought if anything they would want to bring it closer, but
Yeah, it was just, yeah, the laundry list now has gotten, because I was planning to re-break my record, and I actually was in for it, and
yeah,
I just got noticed like a few days ago, and the list went like this. It was just like
really.
massive. And I'm going,
Now,
and then I'm reading it to Dave, my manager, and I'm going,
it's like only if someone tries to beat me.
yeah, it's like
Too much work.
yeah, it's gotten to the stupid point. So yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah.
the type of witnesses that you have, because it was hard enough for me to find the witnesses that I had to find,
Yeah.
because there's like 2 sound engineers. You've got to also have the yeah, and they all have to have their accreditation, because there's lots of sound engineers that we found out that are actually very famous sound engineers, and then when you go to find out whether they actually have their credential papers, they don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
amazing, and they're Juno Award winning. They could be Grammy, and they don't have their engineering papers.
very
They didn't go to
interesting.
school. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's well, geez, I just saw my brother posted up. Apparently, I had a habit of testing everybody's bathroom, so that's good to remember. Thanks, Mike. um, that's fantastic. Hey, James. So I gotta, like, when you started this, I mean, did you receive like a package of like, okay, you want to do this? This is our official list, and yet they still decided to change it. And then, like, did they? Is it because you broke the record now, so they had to make some changes, or is it just one of those things that it's just constantly in flux that someone said, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we should have done this a little bit differently," and then someone's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We should probably add that to the list."
Yeah, we don't know, because that was the thing, because the video guys, because they did extra video pieces on me and did stories on me, and from Guinness, and they
Mhm.
really loved working with me, and so they're like, "Can you break more records?" And so I said, because they also know I can go really high, and I've
Yeah.
done some high. We actually have a C10 that I've recorded, and so I've gone
Okay.
like into the high whistle range, almost as high as, I'm like 4 notes below the Georgia Brown. But they put on my little video clip in there about this boy, and he was doing like up near the end of the piano there,
Mhm.
but he was just kind of skipping up there, like, because on my record they make you do every single note going down, like you have to,
Okay.
in octaves.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, so it's so I was asking them, well, do they make you go all the way up? And and then they wanted only vocal larynx usage. So
Okay.
you had to have people certify. That was a new thing that they added on while I was doing my world record.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so, oh, it must come from the vocal larynx. And I'm like, As in, instead of my what?
I was like, so other than what? They like sticking it like an instrument up your nose to make sure that there's no nasal thing happening as well, or
Yeah, you know,
or
you
other
just your
things?
mind. Yeah, I know. You just like, yeah.
Right? Little pipes put into every orifice of your body to make sure, and you're just like, well, if you keep that happening, I'm gonna break another record.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm asking him, well, before I say yes, I'll break a record, can you provide me with the rules? Because I know they're changing goalposts. So I just didn't even want to go through the bother of doing all this effort putting in for a record when then you get your laundry list back and they've changed all these things. And it's like, yeah, well, I'm not even going to bother. So,
Yes. Yeah. That's crazy.
yeah, so it's a little bit nuts there on what they do, but uh so yeah, they had me doing everything from, they wanted Baba Black Sheep done as low as possible.
Okay.
And so because they were fighting me on the note too, which was hilarious because I was C1 33.57 hertz, although I have accurately actually scaled down to E0
Wow.
at 20 hertz, but we couldn't, the sonogram stops there, so we don't have measuring equipment. So, and
I
Tim
was gonna say,
Storms
how
would
does that
not
measure?
answer me. I have asked, and tried to reach out, but apparently a lot of people have, and he just doesn't seem to want to, because I'm like, well, how are you measuring yours? But then I'm like, maybe he's afraid a girl's going to beat him. I don't know.
Oh,
So
maybe. Oh, it's excellent.
uh,
Wonderful, everybody. By the way, thanks for messaging in. I see there's a lot of messages popping up and a lot of interest, so it's fantastic. I just a couple of things in there. I did notice that. There's a okay. The things got a little bit further on this one. When you actually got into music in general, so how long have you been singing for?
well, I started when I was a child,
Okay.
doing music. My mom was a music school teacher, so she had Royal Conservatory piano, and I also took guitar lessons. So I did kind of mm, guitar and piano since you're like 5 years old or whatever, you're playing since. So, and then
Yeah.
in the churches and choirs and school, and so that whole. But then I owned a spa for a lot of years until I had a
Okay.
car accident. So I didn't really do a lot during that period. So I had that break. And then after the car accident, and I couldn't really do my massage therapy and all that kind of stuff anymore, and the health and wellness stuff. And so I decided my other passion, what do I love? Because I never felt like I worked a day in my life, and I worked like 12, 18 hours a day, but I loved what I did, and I loved
Yeah.
my business, and I used to do public speaking and do different things, and I loved every aspect of it. But so it's like it's a whole lifetime change, because it's like all of a sudden now I can't do that. So it's like, well, what
What you
else
love
do
to
I
do? Yeah.
feel like that about? And I was like, I didn't so much with piano playing. Like, I can read some music and play, but
Yeah.
even when I was a kid, I kind of bucked against it a bit because
I was really bad at
I,
that. I
yeah,
love playing the piano, but I didn't like reading the music. I played by ear all the time.
yeah, and I didn't enjoy the way they were teaching and stuff, and it was just not enjoyable,
Yes.
but I always loved vocalizing.
Mhm.
So I love making animal noises. So I grew up on a farm, so I mimic everything. So it's like I just love mimicking all the little animals. So they'd say something to me, and then I say it back to them, and that was kind of my thing. So I always had this vocalizing thing. So and also poetry and songwriting, because I always say I'm sort of like a Taylor Swift, piss me off 10 minutes later, you've got a song.
It's true. Yeah.
And it's like my venting. It's like, okay. And out it comes. Very poetic though.
Do you know some of the biggest voiceover artists out there? They started off as children and just mimicking things. I know that like some of the people from Futurama and stuff, they were. I'm drawing a blank on the main character's name who plays Fry, but he of course has done everything from Ren and Stimpy and all the way up and through the ages. And he said he used to stand outside of electrical box up from his house because it had this interesting hum, and he would constantly sit there trying to mimic it until he got it. And that's the premises behind his Zoidberg character, came from that that hum of this electrical box. So it's
Billy
very
West.
interesting. Billy West, yes. Oh yeah, he's absolutely hilarious, and that's where a lot of his characters came from. So it was really really neat. Yeah.
I did that with mosquitoes.
Did
That
you?
was really fun on camping trips.
Wow,
then,
you must have annoyed everybody because at the moment they go to sleep.
yeah, well, or you're behind somebody, so then you just start the little buzz, and then I could do the little land.
Jeez, that's fantastic. And to me, that's the only thing I can't stand about camping, or I mean, I even live near the woods and everything, is I can get over mosquitoes. It's not a big deal. But the moment they get into your house at night and you can't see them, but you can hear the damn thing, it's going to try to land on your ear or something, or suck the side of your head in the middle of the night, and then I got to put a sheet over my head because I'm just it's not going to happen to me, or I have to turn on the light and destroy that thing. So that would be obviously a running that'd be a running joke if you were doing that and just pissing people off with mosquitoes. That's great. So of all the things that you've mimicked, of course, what is your favorite?
Well, let's see. One of the funny one is you never want to be my boyfriend or husband.
You just walk around mimicking them all day long.
Well, yes, we're doing male voices in very inopportune times.
That would actually be absolutely hilarious. I don't know. I'm one of those people. If you can't have a good sense of humor, especially around then, I don't know. That's really funny. So
yeah.
Well, now I want to hear what you sound like as a guy.
Well, I don't know, Anthony. I haven't been doing this for a bit, but I'm sure I could kind of do that. If you need a truck driver, whatever you need, I can do that.
I just imagine the voicemails you would leave on anybody's system.
I have. I used to have one.
Yo, you know what to do. Leave your name, I'll get back to you. Word.
Oh my God! See, this would be really good because that's just like Nancy Cartwright. Starting off doing Bart Simpson and everything, it was just all lowering that voice, and So if you decide that you don't want to do a musical career, clearly you could work on voiceovers because.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah, it's just apparently hard to break into, but I'm hoping that maybe somebody will see me sometime and go, "Hey."
It's true. Well, you definitely have to.
You didn't see my Santa Claus drank all my beer last night either, did you?
No. Wow, there's so many things. Okay, so this is great because I think you're going to have to let everybody know the list of these really funny things that you've done because, as you mentioned earlier, there's definitely some really
I did
funny...
2 versions of it, so it's on my album, and the last single release I did was the second version because I released the first version of Santa Claus Drank All My Beer last night, in the fall of 2019, and then, but I did 2 versions because the guy that was recording us, he was like, I think you should have a really interesting voice on this because my album doesn't sound like one person either because I've done so much mimicking my different voices. Like I have one that's a very sentimental song. One was The Day Our Love Died, and Dolly Parton voice kept coming out, and I'm like, pull back the dolly, pull back the dolly. and the single we're putting out and pushing right now to radio is Could Have Been Yes. And that one, it sounds like Shania Twain wrote it, and it sounds like me doing Shania because I did some Shania tribute work, and so it sounds like Shania is singing it.
I have listened to that. I listened to that one yesterday. So
yeah, so
yeah, it's true. You're like a dead ringer for Shania Twain in that one. So that was it was really good.
That's what's funny. So on Santa Claus Drank All My Beer last night. So I was driving to the studio, and I all of a sudden realized I was like, oh, this idea happened. I'm like, I could be an elf. How about an elf voice? So I ended up doing 3-part elf harmonies. Oh, so proud. And doing low elf is very hard, by the way. Because it's like thinking, what does a low elf sound like? What does a low elf sound like?
Yeah, because it'd still be kind of high-pitched and yet scratchy and low, right? So.
Yeah, so it's like, because I was doing Santa Claus drank all my beer last night. No, what a crazy Christmas flight. What do you know? It's Rudolph too. Keeps that red nose shining through. So it's like...
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. So
I know, because people think I do computer generated stuff or whatever, and it's like, no, it's actually all natural, sadly.
well, no, that's amazing that you brought that up because you know, I can't unfortunately, like, so I'm a big fan of the Black Eyed Peas. I really do love their music. However, it became quite apparent after seeing them live how auto-tuned and generated they really are in real life. And I mean, they're quite good showmen, you know, other than, of course, peeing on stage. But I definitely found that a lot of artists nowadays, there is so much electronic reconstruction on voices and stuff. So to be able to naturally do this and apply that to your music is truly bringing things back to a proper vocal talent, right? I mean, you look at, and I bring this up every time we talk about older music, because I mean, of course, I'm a huge fan of 80s music. And I mean, you look at someone like Rod Stewart and some of the other gentlemen back in those days who were not very good looking artists, but my God, could they sing? And then now you see everybody, and everybody who sings is fantastic looking. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell happened to the talented, ugly people out there? I'm almost insulted that everybody's got to look really good. You can't tell me that every one of these beautiful people have fantastic voices. So, and it really makes you wonder, like, how many of these people have the look, but they're auto-tuned, or when they do concerts, they're playing pre-recorded music and stuff, right?
Exactly. Well, and a lot of famous, because I actually was at one point. I am the Black Widow, by the way. I hang my head in shame. I managed to kill off 2 husbands. So.
Okay.
One of them was
this is another conversation I think I want to know about.
One of them was a head sound engineer at CBC.
Oh my God.
So I got to hear all the behind the scenes stuff and famous people, and when they went to do like the country music stuff and everything else, and it's like most of them don't do it live. They take their pre-recorded and just lip sync to it. So
yeah, and see, that kind of boggles my mind. But at the same time, I mean, I've thought it's really interesting because my kids love to jump around, dance, and sing, and of course they're always like, "Come on, Dad, you got to do it too." And you can't jump around and be super active and sound good still. It doesn't happen. So, no. I mean, that in itself, you have to realize if you're going to go to a concert, there's a high chance that you're actually just listening to the pre-recorded music with something really cool happening in the background, right? And you're really only paying to go see almost like a live movie of someone walk around and lip syncing to their own music.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's a few exceptions because apparently Beyonce can, but.
Yes, I've heard that. And
yeah,
I've also heard I've heard
yeah.
Pink can too, but I'm not 100%. I don't quote me that is, but I've heard that. So
yeah, because it's like, yeah, there are exceptions to the rule, but boy, I mean, because even when I've done like care facilities and I'm going around, and because I don't actually love being separated from my audience.
Okay.
I don't like that. Like, I don't care how many people. I just like to be really connected, because I give them hell too if they put spotlights in my face. Well, we got to be able to see. We'll shine it somewhere else, or like make it different, because I'm like, if I'm blinded and I can't see my audience and connect and look into some people's eyes and see how the reaction's going, like, I feed off of that. Like, I love that part of, and getting down and mingling and flirting with all the people, and just making them have fun and just enjoying that whole experience with them. So I don't like that separation, being up on a stage, and just so usually I start up on a stage and then I'm jumping down and I'm off.
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, it's all about the experience. When you go to a concert, you people want to get as close to the person that they possibly can, and then if you're offering that as the interactive experience, I mean, that's the whole show. I mean, I remember when artists started making instead of it just being the flat end of a stage, they started having the catwalk that walked out between everybody. And that was mind-blowing to think that not only did they got this catwalk and they've got audience all around them, but being able to now open up And I'm sure this is all a marketing ploy to be like, we can get even more floor tickets by extending the stage out. But I thought it from a kind of like that customer value point of view. I mean, why wouldn't you want to have the opportunity to be that close up to the stage when an artist is playing, right?
Exactly. It's that whole thing, and it's and we as artists, and at least speaking from my point, I like that because that's what I'm looking for. Because I'm like, am I making you happy? Am I connecting with you? Are you with me on this? Like, and because without them, there's no me. So,
Yes.
and that's the part, like, some people I think get too full of themselves, and it's like, you're nothing without your fans.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's exactly it, right? I mean, that's I think where I think Metallica had made a few mistakes, being, complaining about the people and downloading music and that whole Napster thing that happened. And in the end, it's like, okay, so that happened on such a small value compared to the amount of people that would still love them when they bought their albums and stuff. And I think that cost them a lot of fans out there by complaining about people in the music and stuff. Because in the end, it's still the fans that pay you. And I hate to put it in that value of it being so simple but it is true, right? I mean, you're performing, and what continues to pay you and what continues to get you into other theaters and stages and shows is the fact that your fans love you and the performance that you provide for them.
Exactly. And that's what you've always got to be. It's about them, not about you.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the point too with the music way it's going, because you mentioned about you liking sort of that old music, which is sort of where my music goes, because I called it retro modern country, because I'm trying to pull it back. I am going against all the big boys on this.
And it's not easy, and it's,
I'm taking the hard route, and I'm self-financing the entire thing myself too. So I haven't gotten any grants, nothing. So I have zero help. So I had sold my whole house and everything that I had, and I'm looking after my 83-year-old dad, and so
wonderful.
I may end up on welfare, so please like me.
not with a sense of humor and a voice like that. You're going to be fine regardless, right?
We even tried a thing on for YouTube, because I have all these hits, and like, it's so few people that hit the stupid like and subscribe button. So we were trying to come up with all these creative ways to get people to, it doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us. Like, it's the one way that you can pay us in a way. It's like not pay, and it doesn't cost you anything, get even with the big boys, then they have to pay us,
That's
so
right.
I have
struggled
every time you hit that button.
I have struggled with this, and it's one of those things that I just had to overlook, because I mean, I love doing what I do because I just love doing it and being able to talk to people and bring this type of interaction to the listeners out there. But there's been many times when we first started off, I was just like, well, how fucking lazy can you be? You've watched the whole video. You can't just push that little thumbs up, and it's I think eventually you just have to let that go, because it will literally drive you nuts. But at the same time, I think people do forget the value of what that brings, especially for independent artists and starting off, right? And
well, I even brought those little things. I came up with an idea. So
go on.
So I got I know. See, you're getting me. So I got the little stickers, because you see, I got the pillows because I saw somebody had those pillows. So I got the little stickers, like and subscribe. And you know how the Staples have the easy button?
Yes.
So I bought the easy button, and so I put it here, and then I have the like and subscribe, and I go, don't be a boob, hit like and subscribe. I'm easy, but not that easy.
That's fantastic. See, this is, I feel like, something women can get away with because of boobs and a good sense of humor. Guys can't get away with that. We get in a lot of trouble if we try to do something like that, right? I'd have someone all over me for some type of weird harassment.
You can put it on the head. Don't be a boob.
That's true, right? Yeah, no, I got a good enough sense of humor about myself. Maybe I could just be like, don't be a dickhead. Exactly. So no, that's great. Maybe I'm gonna have to start doing that. So if not, I'm sure I'll have a series of friends and or listeners out there who would agree and make sure, oh no, you totally get away with that. So, no, that's really, really cool. All right. So this has actually been fantastic. I mean, I do want to, of course, hear you do. I mean, for the people who have not watched the video out there and listened to your lowest voice, could you give us that note Will that pick up right now?
I don't know. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Okay. All right.
We can,
We'll give it a try. I mean,
we can give it a try.
yes.
I'll have to just...
All right.
La 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 la
Wow, that is like, I mean, and that is somewhere that clearly, if you were pulling that off in the wrong time, that I could see exactly being a problem when it comes to the dating life.
I know. Well, they had me challenge like say you are my baka and do all this stuff, and I play on TikTok and stuff like that. And so, well, and my point was on Guinness, because they were hassling me about this C1 33.57 hertz, and then I think eventually, just a week or two ago, they've decided in their infinite wisdom, they've moved me up to C1, which actually I hit a B0, but we went for the note that was nice and solid and showing, because I couldn't literally hold my vocal cords as stable. So some people are like, oh, you're doing vocal fry, or you're doing that. Vocal fry does not pick up on the sonogram properly, so you can't get that steady note if I was using vocal fry. But
Okay.
because it travels over the electronics differently and you can't hear it quite clear.
Yeah.
What happens is
So frequency modulation doesn't get picked up.
yeah, the frequency modulation can't, like,
and crazy.
yeah, my engineers can explain why it's not what people keep kind of going, and it's just so they had me sing Baba Black Sheep. So to prove my point that it was a bad day, I started singing at A0, and then I dropped the end note, and we had it on the sonogram reading, so you could see it went from A0 to down to the 20 hertz. Of course, I sent that over to my video guys, and they're like, can you take the captions off?
Oh, wow.
Uh,
I mean, honestly, listening to that, it would be like listening to Baba Black Sheep by The Exorcist, right?
yeah, well, that's what we were like, death metal version, Baba Black Sheep. I'm like,
the Norwegian black metal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Norwegian black metal. It's true. Wow, that is fantastic, and I mean, it's very good for you too, and it really does show a wonderful vocal range. That obviously you're hitting something so low, and clearly your day-to-day voice is not that low, so that's good.
No, well, yeah, because I have hypermobility syndrome, and so I'm booked to actually schedule to they want to scope my vocals and see what's happening actually from a scientific perspective on how I'm reaching those notes. So because of COVID, they couldn't do my vocal scoping because I was actually supposed to have it already. But yeah, I have some scientists that are actually wanting to take a look and see
what's strange about your body.
Yeah, because you can't tell, but I'm like 5'1 3/4.
Okay. I was curious because
so
I think I saw a couple of your videos, and I'm like, I can't tell if she's really short or really tall.
I'm really tiny, but yes, I think big thoughts. So I'm always like, I'm like that little dog that's like, but I'm a big dog.
That's okay. I've got a dog who's a big dog, or a mid-sized dog that believes that she's a tiny dog, and she jumps on you as if she thinks she's tiny, and she's not very light or tiny. So it's
it's kind of that opposite thing. Yeah, so I have that.
Yeah.
Well, because I also grew up on a farm, and so I was always the extra boy, and because I also did massage therapy for a lot of years, I'm strong like both.
Well, I mean, yeah, working on a farm alone, right? I mean, that first of all gives you that extra forearm strength, and
yeah, and so yeah, I used to arm wrestle, and I used to beat the guys at the arm wrestling, and like when I'm lifting the bags and stuff, because even my manager the other day, because we have this one bag, and I was doing some shows, and I brought our small bag for small bag shows, and some guys were offering to help, and I'm like, and I'm trying to be considerate because I'm going, I don't think you want to carry this bag. So I'm like hauling it upstairs and through a pathway over a bridge to the little outdoor thing that we're going. And then the guys pick up the bag and they're like going, yeah, because it's like it's over 100 pounds, this thing, you know, and I'm like slinging it and going up. And it's like, and they're like, oh, we could tell it was heavy. And they're like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you don't wanna
see, I find that I could see why most guys would be very almost emasculated by the fact that they'd be like,
it's
oh,
a hard
no,
point. I know, because I'm like, and I feel bad because I'm going like, well, I don't want them to hurt themselves, and I'm like,
see, no, me,
and I've been missing meals too, so.
Oh wow, I would be like, nah, she's with me. Don't mess with her.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great. You're like a secret weapon, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like people will completely underestimate you.
Well, that's the bad part with the injuries, because I still have that bull strength in there, and yet I'm deemed handicapped because my shoulder can subluxe from the socket, and now I get numbness and tingling if I was to do, because I used to do massage therapy 12 hours a day, and it doesn't bother me. I did deep tissue worked, and I can still do it, but it's just like I start getting so much pain and stuff, I can't do it. And then the hip it also got ruined, so it kind of subluxes from the socket, so I had to retrain myself how to actually walk again. And you know, working with a cane, learning how to go up and down stairs, and so it was a a long go with that. But so it's hard because it's like my brain still doesn't want to register that I'm really can't do stuff, and I'll do little things like that because I can still do it. It's just my body doesn't always like it after.
Yeah, you know what, it makes me think of one of my favorite Sean Patrick Flannery comments. Are you a leprechaun or a leprechaun? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, you're always the leprechaun.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really funny that you mentioned this. Like, so for someone, because I was just actually, I had some lower back issues because of all this moving and stuff I've been doing, and I was at a masseuse the other day, and he does acupuncture, and this is the first time I've ever had acupuncture, and I'm lying there with a bunch of needles in my back and feeling fantastic. By the way, this guy does an amazing job, and I'm lying there thinking, well, who takes care of the people that massage and acupuncture other people when they get hurt? Like, who do they go to? Do they turn around and just be like, I'll just stick a needle in myself and make this pain go away? Or do they have to go to someone else, hopefully just as talented as they are?
That is the trick. Because I've worked with other people. So my kinese and my physio guy, who also does dry needling and stuff, they still have me work on them, and then we trade.
Hey, I'm all about the barter system.
Yeah, because part of the problem is like the people in their office are just as exhausted, and so it's hard to also book into them, and so yeah, I'm kind of the tag team extra person that goes in. They still call me in, so it's like, we'll trade.
Yeah, I'm not feeling good. What do you need right now?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Excellent. All right. So I don't want to. I know we're obviously getting close on time, but I definitely want to make sure we guess some of these fun questions for you. So are you ready for some of our slightly slower than average rapid fire questions?
Okay.
This is normally with Matty G. I don't always do this exact same way that he does, but I'm going to try my best.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. What made-up word would you register into the English language?
Another.
Another? like as in another, but spelled differently, or like what's your definition?
Well, it's just something friends have noticed that I say, oh, we'll just put another one of those in there. I say another all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, and also instead of saying vegetable, I say vegetable.
Vegetable. All right. You know what? I always get made fun for saying potatoes. So yeah. I don't know. It sounds right to me, and my mom says it the same way. So
I know it's like things you grow up with, and it's like, and so when I was like, oh yeah, I suppose that was the right way to say that, but it's just like, and it's so ingrained in habit in your head, so you just end up, well, I like my vegetables. It's like vegetables.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my youngest daughter says "disgusting," and now that we say that in our family all the time. Now we don't say disgusting; we say it's disgusting. So,
I know it's funny when they do that.
It's true. It's true. It's really good. What is the scariest dream you've ever had?
Scariest dream. Well, the other night I had one about crabs attacking, and my cat was really good though. She was rescuing me.
Okay, okay, good. I'm hoping that those were of the seafood variety. All right.
I'm hoping but you know that I had mentioned that funny enough to my manager.
All right. Good. That's good. Like mine's. What superpower do you wish you could have?
I want to be psychic and read everybody's minds.
Really? That's the most dangerous one. I mean, 'cause you can't turn that off sometimes, right?
I know.
Then it's just forced. Then everybody's just thinking about you, and you know everything they're thinking. So
I know it's really good because I really hate people that lie and tell you different things, stories. So I like to,
yeah, that's good. That's a good way of saying it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your earliest childhood memory?
Sitting on a floor, looking at my mother's skirt. It was here in Cloverdale, but I was raised in Vernon. But the old farmhouse. I would say that was probably the earliest. I was probably a year and a half.
Okay, that's still really good. What foreign language would you like to learn?
That was easy, Spanish.
Spanish. Okay.
Well, that's because most of my team are Latino variety, and they speak Spanish all the time. Also, I grew up in a Spanish church too, so I used to be able to understand it. And then, of course, with my mimicking, I can, talk gibberish.
I think I know what I'm saying.
And they used to play around with me because I acted, so a lot of the church thought I spoke fluent Spanish because I learned how to speak gibberish in it so well that.
Lies. That's really cool. That's fun. Okay. If you could go to any decade, what decade would you like to live in?
Probably the 50s.
50s, yeah, that's a good choice. That's one of my favorite. I feel like I'm out of the wrong time period sometimes.
Yeah, it's just kind of retro, nice, and the people were nice.
Yeah. Actually, the only thing that gets me about the 50s, though, if you ever look at old photographs of, like, say, this guy was 18-year-olds in the 50s, he actually looks like he's 43. Like, I don't understand that. I'm just like, how is this guy, like, he looks like my father does now at the age of 18? All I can think of is there's got to be, like, wartime. It just aged people horribly.
Yeah,
right?
I think things did really age you. Yeah, but yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Toilet paper. Do you like it over the roll?
Over and the under the roll.
Yes.
Well, funny on that one because I go both ways.
Right on.
I know.
Now, is it just because you don't have a
pleasure? Double your
fun. Is it because you see like the preference? You're just like, oh, this actually works both ways depending on how I'm feeling. Or you're just like, I just don't give a shit.
Kind of both. It's like when I was younger and they had those scooped rolls that went down with the silver inside the wall. I always liked how it fell down that way.
Okay, yeah.
And to me, it just seemed nicer coming out that way and then sticking out. Like, why wouldn't you want it down closer? And
Yeah.
That was just my thing.
We always grew up in having it like the downwards, and it was because we had a cat, and that cat used to get up and unroll the toilet paper. So if we did it the wrong way, my dad would get pissed because there'd be toilet paper everywhere. So, so I don't know if that's maybe where this big argument actually came from, and people would sometimes say whether or not it was because of a pet or something at some point, or just young kids.
My cat was attacking the toilet roll paper, and I took a picture of her because, of course, it was during our toilet paper pandemic part.
The worst time. Like, damn you! I have to save that.
Exactly. So it was all fun and games till you realized it was the last roll. And then she graduated to paper towels, and I'm like, so I was like, toilet paper rolls are for sissies. I'm a big girl now.
I mean, at that point, especially during the pandemic, and I mean, where we are, I was disgusted with the amount of people who were taking up all the toilet paper. It was just ridiculous. But I would feel like either I have to re-roll it back onto the roll, which by the way always looks horrible, or I actually thought about it. I contemplated creating a device that would then, you could just take that toilet paper and stuff it in almost like a toilet paper Kleenex box, so that you can kind of just pull it back out of the top when you needed it. But I refuse to let it go.
She just like chomps into it and rips it and gets all her aggression out on it. So it's like,
yeah. No, I know that one. My cat takes it's definitely the paper towel. Loves a roll of paper towel. She decimates it. So whenever we get the big pack, one of them goes down for her to play with.
Yeah.
So I feel like we must be pissing away money or something. We must have gotten to a certain point where we can just throw toilet paper and paper towel away. What was the first movie you watched that ever made you cry?
Probably Anna Green Gables.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I was Anna Green Gables, by the way.
Were you?
Expo 86, P&E Pavilion. I got picked as Anna Green Gables.
That's awesome. You definitely have to look for it. So really,
and I'm also Jolene.
And Jolene. I
am Jolene. Dolly Parton's Jolene.
I was going to say that's one of our favorites around the house is Jolene. So.
Oh, is it? Because I'm out. You'll love this. I'm trying to get in front of Dolly Parton. Working really hard. We're trying to get my song because everybody loves the idea. I rewrote Jolene.
Did you?
I wrote it to her music, and it's called Yours, Jolene. And I'm Jolene writing her back.
That's actually really cool. I want to hear that. That's really awesome.
I've got all the words, and we've done a music video, and we've got Grammy Award-winning guys that have played on it and everything. So we're just about to release that.
That's amazing. Okay, you got to make sure you send us the link for that. We'll post it up because that is something I think needs to be done. There's the retort from Jolene.
Yeah, exactly. Because I go, youth and beauty I may bring, but you wear his wedding ring, his life bound to yours eternally. Years beside him as his mate, how much do I really rate? I cannot compete with you, yours, Jolene, because I'm writing her a letter back.
I love it. That's really cool. Very cool. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one. So that's really cool. All right. So we talked about if you had almost $1 billion. So we normally say, we ask people, if you have $1 million, what would you do? If you had $1 billion, what would you do?
I'd build probably a health and wellness kind of spa. I love helping people. So my whole thing is, that's why I wrote Treasures in the Things I Left Behind, because you can't take money with you. And so that's my whole thing is I love helping as many people as I can. That's just, I've been like that since I was a little girl. And if I've got it and I can help somebody, I just do. So
Interesting.
So I definitely make JRFM play my music on the radio. Buy a radio station, because I'm like, and let the little guys get in there for a change.
And that's what it's all about, right? There's amazing new artists out there that just don't get to see the light of day because they're still overshadowed by all the popular singers that have made their way. So
club, and they don't let people in too easily. So it's like you're really fighting to get in there. So.
Yeah, we had artist Dylan Gray on the show not too long ago, and we were talking about how hard it is for women still in this day to break into the music industry, and it's absolutely mind-boggling how much of this is still an old boys game.
Yeah, and right now there's only male country singers. There's not female. So I'm doing everything. I'm like, female country singer, older, and and trying to do something. Yeah, no, I'm not old. I'll pretend I'm young.
That's right. You're only as old as you let yourself be. That's my theory.
I always said I'm going to be 80 and jumping up on the counters.
That's true.
So I'm just.
That's good, right?
I'm bouncy.
Did you see there was a video not too long ago of a 98-year-old figure skater that she was actually out on the ice skating? And she was still performing, and she looked fantastic. I'm like 98. I mean, I felt like, oh my God, if this woman hits the ice, that's the end of it, because she was so frail. But
if you keep your bone density up and you keep active, that's why I don't want to quit doing stuff, and that's why I keep pushing myself, even though I hurt sometimes. It's like I got to keep that muscle and that bone density up, and that's very important. Yeah,
it's where you go downhill when you do actually get older, is that the bones get brittle, so you can't let that happen.
Yeah,
for sure. Do you believe in aliens?
Definitely.
Good. Good. There are very few people that we come across that say no.
Yeah.
And I still give Robert Wall a hard time for that. So
Yeah.
are you left-handed or right-handed?
I am ambidextrous.
Oh,
I go
another
both ways again.
Wow, it's a reoccurring theme here. Get it, everyone?
It is.
By the end of this show, everybody will learn to get it.
Yeah.
What gets on your nerves?
Oh, okay. I said to Dave on that question, it's like, oh, that's a laundry list.
Yeah, you know what? Every week I come up with something new. I don't know if it's just me getting old and crotchety, you know. But
I know it's like pick a subject. It's like, oh,
Right.
you know. So it's there's just from anything from the keyboard bullying to it's and again like the lying thing or people just not being upfront. All the stuff I have to go through every day in this industry.
Yes. And it's weird because really when it comes down to it, it's other people. That's the biggest annoyance, other people.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Right? If people were a little bit more like you, everything would be fine.
Exactly. What's wrong with me?
That's right. See, that's the whole thing in life. You got to be able to clone yourself so there's more of you, and then that way the world becomes a better place. So,
exactly.
Are you an iPhone or an Android person?
Again, I go both ways.
Okay, you just got two phones. You're just like, I got to make sure I cover all my bases just in case there's an app out there I want.
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's dedication. So,
and we wanted to compare the phones, so I got the Apple 12 Pro Max, and I got the Samsung Ultra 20 Note.
So is this just because you want to be like, I need to make sure I sound good on both these models of phones? Is that
everything, and then taking the picture, and then of course Dave, my manager, likes the Apple better, and I'm more used to the Android. So, but he's doing most of the picture taking. So,
all right. So I guess now my question is, who has the better camera? Because that's always the big question, right?
We haven't learned how to use my Samsung one yet.
Well, then I'm going to take that as iPhone for the win. Yeah, you know what? I'm one of those advocates where I poo-pooed iPhone for the longest time. I was very Android. I started off iPhone. I loved it, but then I got into Android, and I love the fact that that Apple got to a point where they had their like steely grips into everything. Like you couldn't do anything with your phone unless you connected it to your damn computer and synced it every week, and I fucking hated that. And now. I have an iPhone again, and I realize that they've gotten rid of all the things I hated about it, and I love having an iPhone again. So and then I feel bad because I think I've influenced a lot of people out there that no, you don't want an iPhone, you want to go with Android. Now they got hooked into Android, and I'm like, oh man, you got to get an iPhone now. So yeah, I am the biggest technological jerk out there. What do you do when you can't fall asleep?
I do brainwave entrainment.
Okay. All right. Is
binaural beats and
the binaural tones? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did that for a while. I kind of liked it. I've always just found like white noise works, so I throw a fan on.
Yeah. I have my fans on constantly. I do that too. The water running thing, all of the above.
Now, do you find it as a fan goer, the same as me? Do you find it that when you don't have moving air in a room, that you just start sweating for no reason?
Oh, just be in menopause. That does it instantly.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, fair enough. Well, I don't know. I couldn't understand because it was cool the other day where I was, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. And all of a sudden I started sweating. I'm like, what is going on? And I realized because the air wasn't turning over, I was feeling like stifled. And I don't know. I was just like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Either I got a horrible health condition I don't know about yet, or I need more flowing air.
Yeah, because I do air filters too. So, because to keep the allergies and make sure I don't get sinus problems and stuff. So I run all these air cleaners in my room. And so I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'd be without. Yeah. That.
Yeah. It's a nightmare, let me tell you. I had to do one of those sleep clinics, and it was like, I did not last through the night. I had to get out. It was horrible. What's the best thing you've ever eaten?
Well, I'm pretty partial to burgers. I like
Okay.
Mr. Mike burgers, and I like the Mike sauce. And I also do
Okay.
teen burgers and A&W, and
An A&W Teen
so
Burger. Yeah,
everybody
that's a good
goes,
one.
she's getting hyperglycemic or anything like that. Throw a burger at her head, she's happy. And then there's the thing, like, if he wants me to smile a certain way, it's like teen burger. So
Okay, that's good.
there's an
Give him the context.
Yeah.
Tell him why.
the teen burger smile because I like them.
No, my exact words were you look at the camera.
Or
now,
like I
you look at
like a
most people
teenager.
look at a lover.
Yeah, oh,
Right? And that was
Ah.
fair. If I want a sexy look from you, then I would say
teen burger.
Yeah.
Teen Burger. There's the cue for a sexy look. All right.
But that's also the way that she
Ooh.
looks at people. Yeah,
Teen
you say,
burger.
You want her to look at you sexy, like then you just say teen burger. It's like the romantic.
We're going to bring the show to a new level just by saying Teen Burger all the time. All right. Have you had a crush on a fictional character, a TV movie character, anything like that? And if so, who?
No, I'd say the closest thing was oh, mine's going blank. Remington Steele, that also played James, but Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, he looks fantastic old.
I know.
I saw him the other day and I was just like, oh my God, this guy looks fantastic. I wish I looked that old, or that good when I looked that old.
Yeah, that one pretty much did it for me. But yeah,
Okay.
I can't say a fictional character ever. No.
No. Okay, that's good. All right. The other thing I had for you was, what is the one thing that makes you totally lose track of time?
You.
Oh, fantastic. I'm liking this already. I guess then I can ask you my last question, which is going to be, what is your favorite podcast you've been on in the last 12 hours?
It could only be this freaking awesome podcast.
You heard it, folks. It gets that exciting. It's absolutely amazing. Joey, thank you very much.
Guaranteed to almost not get you pregnant. Yeah.
Right? Oh, it's true. It's true. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. It has been wonderful. I cannot believe how fast the time has flown. We're going to want to circle back around with you. I want to know more about Jolene when that comes out. And I also
got off too.
Exactly.
Yep.
So this is a wonderful time for you to pitch a little bit about yourself, a little bit about albums and where people can find your music, and any social media or anything that you're passionate about.
I am everywhere. And soon to be also plastered all over my beautiful car.
Excellent. Nothing says it like a good rap.
Yeah, exactly. It's like protects my car, and it's an advertising billboard. Of course,
Okay.
that car is really nice and sexy looking, and it's going to kind of ruin it a little bit. But oh well, that's the price.
Price of fame. Yep.
Yeah. So Joy Chapman Music pretty much everywhere. So joychapmanmusic.com, Joy Chapman Music on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Joy Chapman Music Facebook. You can, pretty much find me YouTube, Spotify.
I was gonna say, don't forget the important ones where people have to download, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can download, and I have 1,000 CDs coming in, physical ones. And then you're going to really love the new cover that's going to eventually coming out. I had this funny idea for retro modern country. So follow-up album or poster, because it was supposed to be on this album, but it was taking too long, so I went for the old design. But okay, picture this: Vancouver Viaduct, horse.
Okay.
Me as Lady Godiva.
All right.
On said horse. And then there's a GPS coming off of the horn of the saddle. Me with headphones on, with the phone in my hand and the cowboy hat on, but naked. And then the cop pulling me over for distracted driving.
All right. I mean, I think you had everybody at naked, so that worked out really well. So everybody, if you are going to be in the market for a new album, let me tell you, this is where you need to pick it up. And make sure you jump over to all the social media and follow her.
And YouTube,
don't be a
and
boob.
follow me. Yeah, don't be a boob. Hit like and
Don't be a
subscribe.
Please hit that thumbs up. It means a lot to everybody, including us here at the Freaking Awesome Podcast, where we love all our guests and being able to bring them to you so you can enjoy them more. So get out there. For all the people, of course, who are on the road right now and listening to this after the live showing, we'll make sure that we post up a wonderful picture of Joy on our guest section of our website, as well as our social media links and anywhere we can get to our music. And again, don't be a boob and hit that thumbs up. Excellent. Well, thanks again, Joy. We'll have to make sure that, of course, you have to keep in touch with us. Let us know what's happening in your wonderful world, and also make sure you give us that link for the Jolene's rebuttal. That is,
yeah, I will. Yeah,
I love this concept, and I'm really, really excited to hear it.
Will do.
Excellent.
Thanks so much, Anthony.
Again, thank you, and again for everybody else, we will look forward to seeing you back again this week, coming up the next week. Yeah, the next week. So. For us, we're going to say goodnight to everyone. And Joy, if you want to stick around for a second, I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
Thank you.